All right.
Hi guys, this is Tracy with Inside Pool Magazine with Nick DeLeon, the Nikon Kid. We're coming to you tonight from I'm coming from my home, but Nick is obviously at a pool room.
I am at Main Street Billiards in Mesa, Arizona, one of the best pool halls in Arizona. All diamonds, bar tables, and big tables. And got some three cushion tables back there and some golf tables. So pretty good. Pretty nice place.
Very cool, very cool. I just left Bumpers Billiards in Huntsville, Alabama. They are putting on the Hot Seat tournament. So if you guys are looking for something to watch tonight, the Hot Seat is where it's at. The Hot Seat tournament is a 700, I believe it's a 699 and under tournament. I'm not quite sure how that happens, but they've got a mini tournament going on tonight, which is in progress as we speak. So if you guys are looking for a stream to watch, Hot Seat tournament is where it's at.
Yes, yes, indeed.
So, Mosconi Cup final day, Nick.
Um, it's tough. Europe has all the momentum going into day four, and the team choice, we already knew it. Filler and Shaw against Shane and Skylar. They had their chances to win that, and they didn't get to it. But bottom line is, we go into the next match after losing, so it puts them on the hill, and we have Jason Shaw versus Skylar. Jason Shaw missed some uncharacteristic balls, and Skylar took advantage of it, and he came out with it today, jumping balls, getting out when he needed to, and he ended up winning. And it brought Shane to 10-6. They ended up doing it, but I gotta tell you, Europe last year destroyed us with lagging, and when you go to Hill 5 matches and 6 matches in a row last year, or whatever it came out to be, Europe is breaking Hill because they're winning the lag, and they're most likely running out, or they have the opportunity to play safe to get ball in hand or to get a better look at the table. But it's absolutely crazy that they're winning so much when it comes to the lag. And Shane fought hard, and he didn't play bad. I actually felt like he played better today than he did the last 2-3 days. So he got there, but he had no chance because he broke and he ran out filler.
Right.
So there's nothing you can say about it, just other than the lag is so big to taking a factor where, man, it's almost like basketball. You're shooting free throws, right? It comes down to the last, you're fouling each other. It's about who's making those free throws when it comes into those tight punches of points. So the lag is huge when it comes to Hill. And last year they destroyed us on it. This year, Shane just, he got to Hill. He played good to Hill, but also the game before that, he had a chance to win, and he missed the 3 ball and hung it. So it's really tough. I don't know what next year is going to be, but we know that it's going to be in Vegas. And with it being in Vegas, we need to work double hard, training camp, whatever, boot camps, whatever, and get ready for it, because we're coming back here and we do not want to lose like this again. Don't get me wrong. We did better than we did the previous year, but it's tough. Even if Shane wins that, then like Tyler's playing David, and David's playing great. So the odds were against them for sure to come back to at least get it close, like 10-8 or 10-9. But you got to hand it to Europe. They had, before the day started, and this is what I feel that is a big thing. Not that they outbroke us, but their looks were good when they broke, where when US broke, our looks weren't as good. So this could have played a factor into like the runouts. But going into day 4, Europe had 22 break-in runs, and US only had 9.
Wow.
That is absolutely huge. And not just saying that
Absolutely.
4-inch pockets and where it was 4.5-inch pockets last year, but that is absolutely a huge game. And it's 505 balls made to 415 balls made comparison. So the lag is huge, and the break and runs are incredibly huge. And not saying that we had good looks the whole time, but when we get those looks, we have to get out in order to keep fighting.
Right. You're absolutely right.
So
especially with those powerhouses. You've got Shaw, Filler. It's almost like it was so top heavy. I expected more out of Kachi, to be honest with you.
Okay,
I just
say that again.
expected him. I expected more out of Kachi, to be honest with you.
I expected more out of Kachi and Ocean when they came out playing horrible. We took advantage then, but like towards the end, like we had opportunities to win those and get those points to at least force the Hill to give some kind of pressure, but we couldn't get there. We couldn't finish. We couldn't do what they were doing. Like, I mean, Shaw left, filler, pretty tough sometimes. And I mean, he had no time, firing the ball and then getting shape and getting out with Shaw. But I feel like it just doesn't matter when it comes to overseas players, that it doesn't matter if you go from 4.5 to 4.25 to 4-inch pockets. They're playing great. Yeah, they're going to miss some, just like we did. But when they miss, we have to capitalize on it.
Right. Absolutely. The big talk right now from the internet, unfortunately, is still JJ's disappointment from yesterday.
Yeah, you just got to get past it. It is what it is. I mean, like, yeah, he was a coach. Yes, he's been the coach and he knows the rules. But when you're in that moment, and I think that's what he was thinking, is like, man, I'm pretty sure they stopped the clock for Shaw when they had that whatever going on.
He just assumed he had time, right?
Yeah, but he had that bug on it. So I don't know if that played a factor in his mind when he was saying, oh, I can get a couple more seconds or whatever the case is. But he announced it. I shared it on my page. You go to Nick DeLeon, Nikon Kid, and you'll see it. He says, this one's on me, but my team's going to keep fighting. And he's all, we just got to move past it. And like he said in the interview today, he said that'll never happen again.
Right.
And I think he
live
was
and learn sometimes the hard way.
Yeah. He was in the heat of the moment. And I felt that, man, you just needed to kind of he might have needed to take a little deep breath or whatever. But even the ref could have said something. The ref's like, hey, the time doesn't stop. And JJ would have got down and he would have shot the ball,
Absolutely.
So other things would have been, other things would have been played in factor as well, like if it would have got said on the other side. But you just have to move past it. I mean, stuff like this happens, unfortunately. Yeah, you don't want to win like this. You don't want to lose like it. But there's really nothing you can do about it. Rules are the rules. And going forward, every player should know all the rules. And it just sucks that it happened to Jeremy because he was playing so flawlessly.
Right.
Like he was grinding.
And that last match, that last race to 5.
Oh, man. I mean, he grinded. And David made a mistake. If I was David and I was shooting the 5 ball, I would have drew out a little bit and I would have played safe on the 6 ball and let Jeremy kick. I mean, worst case scenario, okay, I get hooked or I get a bad roll or I get to see it and I get to do whatever I need to. But he went for it and then he got stuck and then I was like, okay, cool, we have a chance. And then that happens and we're all like, oh, even the Europe team, like everybody was just like, no, that did not just happen. Like, David, made a post this morning talking about JJ and what happened. The guy's a class act.
Absolutely. He's a really cool dude. I met him one time.
Yeah, the guy
amazing man. He's fantastic.
Very class act. And hopefully, maybe a little later, we might be able to reach out to him and get him on here. But, man, I would just like to.
Maybe some of the guys will be okay with getting on here if we give them a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, because they have
especially the Americans. I mean, them being ahead.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it gave them all of this momentum and strength, and they were so excited, because I think they felt like Earl got the crappy end of the deal, so they're like, we're going to do this for Earl, we're going to, rally together, United States all the way. And at the beginning of the next day, it seemed like something was missing.
Yeah. Even when they walked out today, I felt like I was hoping for some more pumping up and everything. Right. And then when Shane started talking, he's like, I feel like we got the edge or whatever. I'm like, okay, there he is. Like
there he is. There's our Captain America.
Yeah. That's what you need. Like not that, like for me, like if I even know I have the edge, I'm not going to say it only because of the fact that if I don't perform after I say that, then I look like a total, jackwagon. But it just like, those guys are just on a totally different level. So I could see them going back and forth and talking about it. But, it is what it is. Hats off to Europe. They played absolutely amazing. The stats says it all. Somebody said something about, Shane only winning 3 of them in the 15. This is not a one-player event. Every player has to contribute. Chris and Jeremy lost right before to make it closer than what it was going into day 4. Chris had a couple chances to come within Hill or whatnot, a couple games with Shaw. But everybody has to perform. It's a team event. You have to build yourself up. You have to build everybody up. So it's tough. Like you might need to mix some players up. You might need to do something. I don't know, but there's no way you can't say that Shane's not allowed there. Like he is the number one American player in the world that we have. And hats down, whether he plays bad or whether he plays good. You guys just don't know the pressure and the spotlight and everything that is. I know something similar to be closer when we do our stream and our Swirl Cup, like Moscone Cup kind of format, but there's nothing near that when you're representing the USA, and then you're the number one player. You're going out there and you have to win, but you're also going up against champions as well. You're not going up against other amateurs. It's a totally different ball game, and I feel for them, but you just have to rip the Band-Aid off, get back out there, practicing, put in the work, and come back. And hopefully, what I feel that should happen, since it's back in Vegas, and since Europe had it twice, back to back, and I understand because of the crowd and everything, or whatever the circumstances that they played in, but I feel that you give us 2 years in Vegas and then you go back to switching back and forth every year.
Right.
I mean, I just feel that's fair. I mean, the home court advantage 2 years in a row, yeah, that plays a factor with the crowd, without a crowd. You're comfortable where you shoot at, you're comfortable where you're at. That plays, I mean, there's so many nerves that come into it. A lot of people that post online and you see the negativity. If you're not in the top players, and all the top players, top 20, top 30 players in the U.S. should know that the pressure is so much bigger than what they've ever played for and whatever tournament they've ever played in.
John has an interesting question that we covered. Mr. George actually covered this yesterday slightly. Where was Shane when Jeremy was going through all of that? From what we understand from some sources, but we can't verify it, that Shane had gone out to get someone to ask about that rule. That's what the rumor is going around, that Shane had done that. I'm sure Shane will provide that kind of information when they get back on American soil. It's been a rough week for them, and we're going to give them some space.
Melina Mike, if you guys don't follow him, go to his page, Melina Mike, or Windows Open. He shares everything. He knows all of it. Excuse me, he made a post today. I wanted to throw it out there. Rack and Grill, Food, Billiards, Brew.
They're coming with it.
He made a post today, and it goes out to all the Europe players. He made a post today saying that he wants effort in the lineup and that he is willing to put up $25,000 to have the same format with the same players, unfortunately, with Earl instead of Jeremy Jones, and at his place, and he will host it. So we'll see if that happens. I mean, he said $25,000 to the winner, and he's putting it up.
And he says if anybody's got some extra dollars they're wanting to donate, they would to donate to the cause. Correct.
So hats off to Michael with Rack and Grill. I thought that was awesome. And yes, we want to see Earl in, especially with everything that has happened. I guarantee you he wanted to get out there so bad and help his team and whatever he could do.
Ron is asking any word from Earl or info on Earl. Earl has posted a couple of times during the week. I'm assuming he's fine. He hasn't mentioned anything about having any issues. He has posted that him and Shane are going to have a challenge match. I believe it's next weekend. I'd have to get that information for you guys to verify it. And I believe it was the 18th. It was on your wedding, and that's the reason why I just totally spazzed.
19th. But also, I believe the last time they played, Earl beat Shane, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not 100%, but that's going to be another good match. Even after Shane even said that he's been hidden away and he's been practicing a lot for this cup, and for this to happen, it just sucks. But you have to hand it off to Europe. I understand with the fans and all that stuff, but they played remarkable, and the stats showed it. The stats showed everything of what they did. I mean,
I saw something today. that bothered me slightly about them saying that next year they don't want to see Steyer.
Who?
That's just something that's going around the social media. That's what the diva does. She is really tracking you guys to find out what your opinions are. They are not very convinced that Steyer should be on the team at all.
I felt like he played
I felt like he did a fantastic job for an unseasoned player like he is.
And beating Filler his second year being in, he won it the first year, and he played and he beat Filler. I mean, that's fantastic. Like, that's a huge takedown. And then his first year, he even took down Niels.
Right.
His first ever Moscone Cup, he takes down Niels, the Terminator. Like, how do you see that like he has no chance in being there? Don't get me wrong. There's other players that might play a little better than he does, or play about the same. But he's earned it. Like, I feel that he's earned it and he's done it. You know, like I wanted to see Shane win that, and then Tyler play David. That would have been a fantastic match, win or lose.
So you felt, personally, I think JJ did a fantastic job considering he was literally thrown to the wolves without any. He had no. It's like, man, now I have to, perform on top of coaching these guys.
Yeah, I don't understand how people don't understand that. Just being thrown in there and not playing a lot.
I felt like he brought it. He brought the best that he could bring, and he rallied the troops every day. So,
yes, he did.
That takes a lot. And I, for one, I salute the man. He did the best he could. He really did.
I mean, there's nothing else he could do. Now they have to prepare for next year. It's in Vegas. Hopefully it stays in Vegas and it happens and not goes back to Europe. But we have to be able to do something different. And I mean,
do you feel like Shane may duck out next year, since he doesn't look like he's feeling it much anymore? But, it could just be that everything was happening in the bad for the U.S. for the moment they got touched down.
Yeah, day 3 we got. I mean, was it day 3? Yeah, day 3 we got smoked. Right, everything went their way. When they broke perfect and they ran out. When we broke, stuff was tied up, or we were having bad shape, and we had to play safe, and then we had to go off of their kicks or whatever. Right. So it was really tough. And then when they're winning the lag, they're like a 60-70% favorite to win the Hill game. So it's like it's so tough. Like, just like last year, we got dominated. We did better than last year. We put up a fight, but it's because they made more mistakes this year in the beginning than we did last year. But
do you think that Skylar is? I swear, I cannot even talk when it comes to this kid. He shows more heart and is constantly on that table trying to learn something from Shane or whoever when he's playing. And the kid plays phenomenal anyway, but he really helped out the U.S.
No, he did. That was a huge point.
He was like on point, and that's what I meant. Do you think Shane will take a step down next year and Skylar take his place? Or do you think Captain America is going to hang in there?
No, he has to hang in there. He has to regroup, come back, and be the captain that we need, the Captain America that we need. And you have Skylar as a backup. That's a great, not saying that he's a B player, but I'm saying like in the NBA, when LeBron brought in Kyrie, and Kyrie outperformed LeBron the whole entire year. And then, but when Kyrie went to Boston to play by himself and be the main player, he couldn't perform like he did when he had that A player above him. So I feel that Skylar feeds off of Shane and gets him to play that much better. And I feel that he has that capability of doing that, but you can't have Shane step down, or you can't step down from the Mosconi Cup. You're the best player. Everybody knows you're the best player in America, and you have to be that man every year. But Skylar did perform when he needed to perform.
Yes, he did. It's all true to form. I mean, true to form. The man's a monster. He's a beast on the table.
Yeah.
And we have to come down and talk about my favorite player ever, Chris Reinhold. This kid took a beating this week.
Yes, he did. But it's going to happen.
On social media, he has taken a beating. Like
You
he's
just
not
can't.
punishing himself enough.
No, you just can't let that get back to get to you. You're gonna have bad things said about you when you play bad, and then you're gonna have fantastic things said about you when you play phenomenal. But
Right.
but I mean, I saw people go, "Oh, hey, who's this Chris guy? Where's Chris Robinson?" Like it's not about negativity. Like you need to build your players up regardless if they played bad and they lost. Like everybody's gonna miss, everybody's gonna lose. Tyler beating Filler. Was that like oh, no brainer, no problem, you got this? No, that was a huge point for us to
It
take down
was.
Filler in singles. So
And
you
now
can't.
Skylar knows, I can
Yes,
do this. I've got this. I can do
yes,
this. You could see it all over the kid's
yes,
face. He was so
correct.
excited, but he held his composure. And there was a lot of heckling going on and a lot of crazy, and the kid, he held his composure.
Yeah, no, Mosconi Cup is one of the biggest,
It's got to be
toughest,
the most
and
mentally
the most
tough
yes,
ever.
and the most pressure and nerves you'll ever experience in your life.
Carl Honey says the U.S.'s problem is that they are not deep enough in the world-class level players. I
I
will
agree.
repeat what George said last night
Yes,
was they treat billiards in the U.S. like a game, not a sport.
correct.
I truly
That's be,
believe that
but that's
he's
because
correct in that.
everybody pays more for the other sports, right? So
Right.
you treat it as a game, just like darts, right?
We were talking
Just like
about snooker last night.
I know, just like bowling. You know, those are big sports, but they're not getting paid like with the NBA and the NFL. But overseas, they treat it like it's the NBA or the NFL. So it's a totally different aspect of life on two different ends. So like
Right.
we have to be more committed, and we have to do training camps or whatever like the overseas are doing. Like I remember Oscar Dominguez telling me he went overseas. He's all, I play good safe, but these guys are jumping like nonstop and jumping and playing safe. And afterwards, I'm like, how are you guys jumping so good? And they're like, jump Tuesdays, 8 hours. We jump balls. And then kick Wednesdays. All we do is kick Wednesdays and break Thursdays. They're breaking for 8 hours without even pocketing a ball. So it's the discipline that they put on themselves to play out here much better than what we play.
Right. It's all about the discipline. I mean, and it's a different environment in the Philippines. It's a totally different environment.
Yeah, of course it is.
They're
But I'm
different.
saying like it just they have those training camps where here we don't. We just go, okay, you're left on your own. You go and do your training and we'll see how you're doing. I'll tell
Right.
you what, when I get my table, I'm gonna have so many break marks, I'm gonna have so many jump marks, I'm gonna have everything because I'm going full on out and I am gonna do the best I possibly can. And even if I put in 110% and I still do horrible, that I just know that I at least put in the work to get there.
Right. And with the Reinhold thing and them giving him such a beating, my feeling is the kid come out strong on the first day. He made some incredible shots, but he's
No,
also made some mistakes. It happens.
yes,
Those
and those, but
pockets are
those,
tiny,
yeah, but those cute, those like that three ball that he missed against Shaw after banking that two ball in, like right there
uncharacteristic Reinhold.
after you make that two ball and you bank it in, and that ball comes down on the in rail comes back, man, you should be feeling great, right? You should be
Right.
like, yeah, that ball went in. How do you like that, Shaw? Like that's how you're supposed to be thinking.
Right.
And then he goes and he just misses the ball, overcuts it, and I'm just like, I understand you're playing on 4-inch pockets. I totally get it. When you're not comfortable, like at all with 4-inch pockets or even tight pockets, it does play a mind trick on you. I don't know if that's the case with Chris, but I'm telling you, I wish him the best. I wish that he gets over all this social media BS that's happening because you're always going to have people that are fighting and that are tough behind the computer and that will say whatever they want and
I
then
don't
be
think
nice
he's
to your face.
responding to any
But
of the messages
not
per
that, but
se.
I'm just saying you do read it. Like when I have bad performances and I read comments, it's just like it
Yeah.
does tear you down a little bit, but you also have to feed off of it as well, right?
I
Because
think
you're
he
not
needs to use it to his advantage to give him a
correct.
small nudge.
Correct.
I mean,
Because
he's still young. He's got plenty of seasoning to go.
correct. Pool is not always like this, right? You're always going like this. There's a
Right.
couple months that you might be at the top, and then you're sloping, then you're getting back up, and then you're sloping, you're getting back up. Pool will always be like that. But you'll notice who's winning events and who's winning when you'll see who puts in the most work.
Right. Carl Honey also said that in Europe they have a field that three different teams of the world class players. Europe, they're just a lot. I think they take it a little more seriously
They do.
over
They
in
do.
other countries because it's more prestigious for them. They
Yeah.
also, you don't see those guys coming in t-shirts and shorts. They have their jerseys on and slacks when they go to their
Yeah. Michael,
tournaments. So
sorry.
it's slightly different than what we have here.
It's different because they're playing against champions all the time. Where if we go to a tournament, we might run into Shane, we might run into Skylar, but we're not running into like top champions like in the whole group. Where you win a match and then you have a champion in your next match, and then you have another champion in your next match, and then all those nerves started kind of building up, and then they kind of get away from you, and then you're like you start playing how you normally play because you're used to playing those guys. Because like me, I'll tell you. My first time playing Dennis Ocorlo was back in Mississippi on the bar table, Valley bar table. And I'll be the first
my stomping grounds.
Yeah, I was there. I was playing big times. I was playing a huge tournament, and I won my first 3 matches on the bar table playing 9-ball. And I break around my first 3 against Dennis, and I play safe. He kicks it in, runs out. We get close, and he breaks, and I get ball in hand. I have to shoot the 1 ball in the court bucket. I have to float over to the side row to play the 2 ball. I was so nervous and shaky that my 1 ball didn't even make it to a rail, let alone the pocket that I was shooting at with ball in hand. And afterwards, I'm just like, I really just did that in front of everybody. Like everybody's sitting here watching me beating Dennis, and then Dennis comes back on me, and then we go back and forth. But everybody does that. It's just the nerves from playing. It just if you're not used to playing the champions or playing the top players, you're going to have those moments. But if you keep on competing and keep on doing it, then those nerves go away, and your mind starts thinking differently, and you start playing your normal game.
My thing was I got tired of racking. I was like, oh my God, Hennessy, if I have to rack one more time.
Right? No, but it's like that. But I saw Michael's comment, and I'm not saying that the pockets faded him or that it was in his head or whatnot. I was just saying from a lot of players out here, when you go to tighter pockets, it does play a mind trick on you. And I know Spencer has tighter pockets at his house, and I get that. So I'm not saying that's what the case is, but I'm saying that it could have been one of those thoughts when he was getting down and shooting it, or his mind wasn't clear, or whatever the factor is. But on those key moments, if Europe's banking that ball in, and then they're getting out. Like there's no ifs, buts, or about it. Like they're getting out. They got it out on everything that was open, other than a couple of mistakes from Shaw that Skylar Woodwork capitalized on to take that point.
Billiards is such a mentally tough game. You have to literally not think of anything but what is right in front of you. And most players have a million things going on in their head. I once asked Jonathan Hennessy, do you know after the break exactly what you're going to do? And he said, in my mind, I've mapped it out. If there's one thing that happens that distracts me from my run, then that will put me, a little out of place. And then I have to regroup. So for me to stay focused, it's best for me to try to zone completely out except for the table. And and that was from that was his perspective on it, and I agreed with him, because it's when you're in a pool room, especially these places that we go to here, where there's people walking in front of the tables, or they're speaking too loud, or you've got a drunk couple over here and you're trying to play in a tournament and you're going, I wish you'd just be quiet and go away.
But also
10 times that when you walk into the Moscone.
Correct, but also that's stuff that you have to not. That's stuff that you have to fade, but also stuff that you need to focus that you're playing, and you're not doing that.
That's what he said. Your job right now is to focus on the table. Stop looking at everything else.
Yeah,
stop
correct.
thinking.
Like I could be down on a 9-ball shooting
everything else.
Yeah, and I could have somebody come by and run butt ass naked or yelling in my ear or whatever. But if I miss that, because I'm saying I'll blurt it out. Sorry, but it's all about your focus there. It's all about your focus getting down, and it's just stuff that you have to fade. Like that big crowd. That crowd was loud, and
they were drinking on top of it. I mean, they were crazy in that place. Let's see. Carl Honey says, I think we should have an early in the 2-week team tryout, 16 to 24 prospects to play in a crowd environment with cheers and heckles to see who rises to the top. I think we do that on a daily basis when we're in bars.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot that the fade at the bars or the
You know
pool
the
halls that people
difference
are talking about.
between us playing in tournaments here and playing in the more prestigious tournaments like the Moscone Cup? We are allowed to wear earphones.
Yes, and not just saying that. I used to wear earphones, and I have
You
played
have to stop doing that.
some of my best pool wearing earphones, right? But I realized when I started playing bigger events out of town and going traveling that a lot of them do not allow headphones. So
Right.
now, if you play constantly with headphones, now when you have to go out of town and you go play in a tournament and you're like, well, shit, now I'm hearing everything. It's because you're wearing those headphones that plug it, whether you're wearing earring or you're here listening to music or you're not. But I took them out immediately because I knew I would be traveling to other events and bigger events that were not going to allow it.
Right. There's a lot of things I think we do out of habit, and because of us doing that, when you're thrown into an environment that's extremely chaotic, like the Moscone Cup was this year, I've
Yes.
never seen so much chaos come out of one tournament in my life.
It's been absolutely crazy.
Carl Honey says, then those players picked have to commit to playing in majors throughout the year. We agree with you.
Yes,
You know
agree.
that this should be something to be put into that.
But
We don't
here's
even know how they pick the players for the
correct.
Moscone.
Correct,
So
and
I
not just that. This is what I dislike, and this is one thing that I kind of appreciate but not appreciate. So with all the match rooms, right? When it's overseas or if it's in the U.S., your top players that want to contend for the Moscone Cup and are interested in going and being in that environment, you have to be able to invite those players and not just be a handful pick and come out and play. For instance, I'm dying to play in the 10 ball world's Predator event. I am dying to get up there with those champions. I'm dying to, whether they break and run 8 on me and I'm sitting there in the chair. Oh well, it's happened to Alex twice. You know what I'm saying? But to feel that pressure and to be in that moment and playing against those champions.
right.
But
I've been a cue cozy before. Just sat there and held my cue all night.
and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like
But I learned something.
they're only invitational only. So if they don't know you, even though you have a high Fargo, you're not going to get invited.
Right.
And it sucks.
They
Like,
need to know who you are.
Correct.
I mean, everybody knows who Earl Strickland is.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to cut you guys short. Diva's going to take over.
going to run, guys. We're going to cut this off early. Nick's
or Diva can answer some questions.
I'll stay and answer some questions. Nick's going to head on out of here. He's got a tournament he has to get to. I'm going to let him give his sponsors a big shout out before he leaves. Thank you so much for your time tonight, Nick.
No problem. Inside Pool Good Plan Magazine for putting this together and always helping us out to make something better to get more people in. We will be live every week. It wasn't just for the Moscone Cup. It was just a perfect time for us to start this so we can get our viewers and get everybody to talk about pool in general. Q-Tech is one of my major sponsors. I love you guys. I'm glad to be a part of the team. They do a lot for me, and I just can't wait to get out and start playing more starting next year. Molina Mike, if you're not following him, windows open. Molina Mike, he's your man. He knows all of it. Pool Player Podcast with my boy Joey Ryan, 1PKT, all three. Travis, Molina Mike, and Joey Ryan. They're all in that group. So I love you guys. Thank you guys for all tuning in. I appreciate it, and we will see you guys next week.
See you later, Nick. Have a great night. Good luck tonight, by the way. I hope Dory kicks your butt.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye. Okay, guys, I'm not going to hang in here too much longer myself, but there was a couple of other comments that I wanted to make sure that you guys got on the stream. We're also going to be doing a Q raffle at the end of the year, or of course the end of the month. And we're not quite sure what kind of Q we're going to raffle off yet. Also, we'll have a couple of giveaways, and we're also going to pick one viewer chatter. You have to be in the chat room to be picked to come on the live stream with us and ask us some questions and answer some questions. So if you guys are game, we're down for it too. Anyway, I'm going to head on out of here too, guys. I appreciate you guys following us and giving us the props. We appreciate it. I'm going to give a big shout out to Big Time Billiards out of Meridian, Mississippi. If you're looking for a high Calcutta, That's where it's at, guys. They'll be hosting their high-low tournament next weekend, December the 18th. If you're down in the southern part, around southern Mississippi, sorry, I'm tripping over my words, not southern Mississippi, check out Big Time Billiards. Also, Iron City Billiards out of Birmingham, Alabama is hosting their Iron City Classic. So if you guys are looking for something to do in that area, Iron City Billiards has a fantastic place. Guys, right now, the hot seat tournament's going on in Huntsville, Alabama, and that's where the Diva was just earlier. She was checking out some of the shortstops out of that area, and nothing's changed. AJ Jones is still on fire. You have also a couple of new ones and a couple of old ones there. Tim Miller's there. I also saw, trying to remember all of their names. Miss Jones was there too, and a couple of other good shortstops. So if you guys are needing something to watch, it'll be the hot seat tournament out of Huntsville, Alabama. Check out Al's page. I would give a big shout out to my sponsor, Steve Ditmar, for always making sure the Diva has something special to wear that says Poolholic across the front. Enterprise Car Rentals is where the Diva rents her cars when she goes to some of these exotic places like Indianapolis, Indiana. They always make sure the girl's got a safe ride to get her where she needs to go. We're also giving back a little discount. Enterprise is giving you guys a little percentage off your car rentals. So check out my page and you'll get the link to get that discount for your rental cars. Give a big shout out to my other sponsors, Sugar Tits Moonshine. I know it sounds silly, but let me tell you, you guys, it's some amazing stuff. So check out their webpage. Do you guys have anything you want to ask me before I run out? Nothing? All right, guys, the Diva's signing out for the evening. You guys have a fantastic night. And remember, if you're not on a pool table, you need to be watching it. Have a great night.